The topic today for my presentation was for innovative police practices. And so what we talked about was how we've developed a drug monitoring program to collect a lot of different drug correlated data sets and link those data sets together and to ultimately have an impact on mitigating the opioid epidemic, identifying bad batches of drugs, mitigating overdose events, furthering investigations. Through our drug monitoring program, we've identified the value in identifying seemingly disparate data sets or data sets that law enforcement wouldn't traditionally use to investigate crimes and further investigations. And to do that, we collected data from a lot of different resources. And ultimately, we had to collect data from different sectors, and the public health sector, hospitals, private sector, but with the goal of reducing community drug harms. So at this point in time, we can identify bad drug batches in real time, and we can mitigate overdoses when they're happening now. We can identify at-risk areas, at-risk populations, and as well as at-risk individuals. When we identify the at-risk individuals, we have federal funding coming down to approach these individuals and get them into treatment. And it's a really good advance for law enforcement in our mission of reducing the overall impact of the opioid epidemic. So through our data collection from emergency management system naloxone data, essentially from EMTs and paramedics, we combine that with naloxone data from law enforcement officers. When we look at all the batches coming in and we look at the drug packaging, and we look at the contents, we were able to link up certain cases, and that led us to identifying the suppliers and dealers. And what we did with that is when we combined all that data, when we identified where the batch was coming from, we then combined that forensic intelligence with source intelligence from our investigators out in the street, and we were able to identify a specific heroin mill that was packaging an exceptionally deadly batch of drugs. We were successful in our investigators, our opioid enforcement task force, did find the mill, they hit the mill, and after they hit the mill, and they shut down that drug operation in that network, there was a 33% decrease in overdoses in the most impacted areas from that drug mill. We received federal funding from BJA under the Anti-Heroin Task Force grant to start our drug monitoring initiative, or at least to further it along. With that, we were able to buy contract personnel, technology, and some hardware and software resources to support our program. Further, that helps us develop the intel, and the intel supports the Opioid Enforcement Task Force, which is also funded by BJA. We're able to bring in multi-jurisdictional partners for county and local, or part of the task force in 4 different locations in the state. So the funding is going from supporting the intel and now intel-led policing, where we're supplying the intel for our Opioid Enforcement Task Force, and they are operational.